Splatoon 2 has just been announced, and with a new Nintendo trailer comes lovely game explain analyses. But I wanted to take a different approach to go beyond the Squid trailer. Since I have ascended to S+ and played on a competitive team for a little while, I naturally love the rank side of Splatoon. Let's not delay this any further, and let's look into Splatoon's 2 purely competitive side, including weapon, mechanics, maps, controls, and more. So with all that out of the way, let's start up our analysis machine. The first weapon we are promptly introduced to is the Splat Dualies. Claiming to be fast fire rate weapons, we can see this truth when Inklings get decimated, but almost always at close range. I'm willing to bet these pistols will fall somewhere in between the Splatter Shot and Arrow Sprays in terms of damage, fire rate, and range. We see this paired with the new Jetpack special weapon, and the trade-offs compared to a normal Inkzooka seem to be giving up the classic weapons Ink Tornado for the ability and blaster-like projectiles. And we even see it's called the Inkjet. Now another weapon we see in the trailer is a roller that flicks in a vertical line. We can confirm this is not a roller rework since we see a roller functioning regularly earlier in the trailer. This new roller would be a huge compromise DPS-wise due to actually having to aim. Hear that, Dynamo mains? I believe this weapon would be between ink brushes and full-on rollers for ability and damage, or just might act like a regular roller using less ink for worse range. And while we are here, we can see the quote normal roller, as we see at horizontal flick, have a move where the area around them explodes, acting like an actually good ink mine. I believe all the gameplay we have at the moment is for Splat Dualies, so it may seem like a mystery, but we can confidently say this is the ink burst, if you will, seen in the trailer. We know it is a special weapon because before the move is used, the enemy's hair is glowing, and after, gone. Sadly, it seems like this might compete with Ink Strike for worst special because we see it is avoided pretty easily, being survivable just out of the area of effect, although its short fuse makes it seem interesting. We can also note that the vertical roller has a redesigned seeker in the Ink Burst 2, seen in this clip. These seekers might be a variant that can bounce off of walls but have a shorter fuse and no tracking, and I'm willing to bet we'll see the old seeker again. Well, all our mysteries can be solved by the Nintendo Treehouse, because right after the Nintendo Switch reveal event, they did some Treehouse Live with Splatoon 2 gameplay. Now here we can see it actually is a roller rework. This vertical flick will only be present when your Inkling is jumping, and the regular flick will happen when you're on the ground. And I don't know how I feel about this. Rollers were definitely one of the weakest weapons in Splatoon at the end of Splatoon's life. Everybody thought they were OP, but you just have skill and you just shoot them, But as much as I throw shade at Dynamos and really hate Dynamos, at the end of Splatoon 2's life, it really didn't matter anymore because you would need more people to be in the fight rather than just spam from long away because you have long range. But I think this roller rework will get rollers back into the meta, and I think it having a bit of larger range than the horizontal flick gives them a bit more range too. Alright, enough of rollers. Let's move on to a weapon that actually takes skill, or maybe not this time around. Chargers. We can see this fairly looking normal charger sporting splat bombs and their new ink railgun to round out its set. This new special likely locks a player in place since we never see movement while it is in use, coming with insane range and most likely power. Other than that, nothing special. Wait! In less than 1 second of charge, we see a full health Inkling obliterated at close range, sure, but still. Even the Squiffer and Bamboozler don't work like that. This time around, perhaps we'll see charges be OP at the beginning of Splatoon 2's life. Now, the Nintendo Treehouse is back to solve all our problems once again. And for the charger, I was just about to say it won't be broken, but we'll see. However, we can see this isn't actually a charge. We can see that the Inkling saves a charge. Then you can save that charge if you're in Inkling mode, if you switch to Squid, and as soon as you pop out from Squid, you could just fire it off as we've seen in this clip. So, is it insane? It really does seem insane. However, they still have to make the shot, so they still have to get their cursor on you and aim. and in that time they'll charge the shot anyway, but it does give chargers a really strong close game. Before you only had really burst bombs for really close up E-liters, but I feel like this might make chargers really powerful in a bad way, because at the end of Splatoon 2's life, they were really the best weapon to have in comp. They can destroy at long range, they can still survive at short range because of some bombs, but I think this might skyrocket chargers, but let's just see before we make any assumptions. Now the only other relatively different looking main weapon is the splatter shot with a pink wrap around the gun, not a major design change, and the fire look looks unchanged, so I'm going to call it a redesign. However, a new aspect to the weapon is its ink range special, which we can see is paired with the weapon after our first look at the ominous cloud. To use it, a container is thrown and then this cloud is released, and it sucks. Although we see it hovering over a sizable amount of turf, we see it do okay turf coverage and pitiful damage. Like seriously, that one inkling is just playing in the rain. Forget what I said, this for sure takes it for the worst special. Now all that's left are the specials we haven't covered yet, starting with the ink mortar. It seems to lock onto enemies in a specific area, notable by the circles around them. Afterward, it seems to kill in 1 to 3 hits. To me, this seems like a take on the ink strike, substituting coverage for more damage. I'm doubtful this is an ink strike redesign since, for what it is, ink strike is good in turf war, which as much as we might hate it, is Splatoon's main mode. Next is a mix of the sloshing machine and bomb rush. I don't see the point of this being different from Bomb Rush, so this one might just be a redesign, but they did say new specials, so maybe this one has longer range but locks it in that circle, so you're vulnerable at close range, and to be honest, that feels like a reach on my part. That's all I could snoop around for weapons and gameplay in the trailer we just got, but stay tuned for part 2 because there's much more than squids hiding in this trailer. We still have to pick apart mechanics, maps, controls, and maybe more for the competitive traits. Did I miss something? Comment below. Signing out from this Squid Research Lab, stay fresh.